Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So today I'm going to be doing a video all about cosmetology school, and I wanted to do this for a long time, but I've been putting it off because, you know, with the quarantine and everything, I know that actually going to a school wasn't actually a thing at the moment. But now that schools are reopening, or at least in my state, cosmetology school has reopened, I decided now's a more appropriate time to do this video. So now without any further ado, let's get into this video. So here are my tips for cosmetology school. So first and foremost, I just want to say, if you are not interested in doing hair, cosmetology school is not for you. I feel like that's not a very well-known fact because I personally didn't know that when I went. I mean, luckily for me, hair was the main thing that I wanted to do. But the entire field of cosmetology also covers makeup, skincare, nails, waxing, lashes, all the other stuff. But it's mostly hair, skin, nails, and makeup. So if you want to do nails, skin, or makeup only, you're going to be miserable in cosmetology school because it is like, at the very least, 75% hair. If you want to just do skincare, just do an esthetician course, just do a nail technician if you want to do nails, or just go to a makeup academy if you want to do makeup. But if you are not interested in doing hair, you're going to be miserable because it's mostly hair and bookwork, and then we just kind of touch on all the other subjects. So naturally you would think that we have like an even amount of time to study each thing, but no. It is so much hair. It is pretty much all hair. So if hair is not for you, neither is cosmetology school. Also, I didn't write this down, but I want to briefly put this in. If you are just going to cosmetology school because you think it's easy or just want to get something at the fallback and you don't really want to take it seriously, you're gonna be miserable also because it's a lot more work than you think it is. I feel like a lot of people assume that going to cosmetology school means the teacher's gonna be like, okay, so this is how you do an updo, and then you're gonna be like, okay, done, and you're just gonna know it. But it's not like that. It's a lot of, obviously it's a lot of physical hands-on stuff because it's the beauty industry, but also it's a lot of bookwork and studying. You have to know anatomy and chemistry and is it electrosis or electrology? The study of electricity. It's a whole bunch of other subjects that you wouldn't expect to need to know, because even when I was looking through my textbook the first time, I was like, why are all these different topics in here? But it's actually a lot of stuff, and then as you learn it, you'll realize why it's necessary to have that backup knowledge of all that stuff. So it's not just a let's go to school and look pretty kind of course. It's a real professional field, so if you're not going to take it that seriously, don't bother. I've seen a lot of people join cosmetology school because it was easy and they're like, I just needed something to learn really quickly, just need to make some quick money, and then they pay all that money and they end up dropping out because if you're not interested in it, you're not going to succeed. And I tell people that all the time. This is a field where you have to actually love it to excel in it because there are so many tedious and meticulous tasks that you have to know how to do. Like, imagine hating doing hair and then being stuck doing balayage highlights that take like 5 hours on a client. Like, you're going to want to pull your hair out. You're not going to bother taking the time that it takes to learn more and improve your skills and improve your craft if you're not interested. So don't bother. That's basically what I want to say. I just feel like that needs to be put out there because I've seen it happen so many times, and I hear it so many times when people are like, I'm just gonna go just because it's quick and easy, and then think about what I want, and then they go and they quit because it's too much work. Because believe it or not, beauty school is work. It's a school, so you work. Okay, so enough about why you should not go to cosmetology school. So now let's get into the tips for being in cosmetology school. So the first tip that I have is start your portfolio immediately. I know for me personally, I was like, no point in taking pictures. I just started school. Obviously, the stuff looks bad. And I feel like that's a mindset that a lot of people have. But the thing is, it's okay, okay? Like, you want to have as many pictures as possible. At the end of your school year or the end of your course, you can always go through them and pick out what you want to keep. But don't feel bad that all of your pictures are going to be pictures of mannequins. Because I know it's like weird to take a picture of a mannequin and be like, this is my work. Because obviously, it's a mannequin, not a person for one. And also, it's only so good a mannequin can look. But it's understandable. Like, when you go to your first job and that's your portfolio, it's not like it's gonna give you a hard time getting a job or whatever, because whoever's hiring you has been through that phase as well. We've all gone through our portfolio is full of mannequin head phase, and that's normal. So take your pictures, and obviously you're gonna get clients somewhere along the way, but don't wait until the end of the year where you think your skills have improved, because honestly, towards the end of your course, you're actually going to have less opportunities to get pictures, because at the end of your year, you're spending more time doing book work and studying for state boards. So unless you happen to get a client, you're really not going to have opportunities for pictures. So take as many as you can throughout the entire year, and not only just to show employers, but also it's just nice to look back and see how much you've grown. Obviously, it's a short course, but you'd be surprised how much you can learn and improve in that year. So it's great to have those pictures where you can see the entire phase. So the next tip is to participate in all of the extracurricular activities, or just extra activities. So a lot of schools, I believe all schools do this, but they give you a chance where you get to go out and help with community fashion shows or compete in different competitions in like an amateur level or whatever. There's always more that you can participate outside of the school, and these are usually optional programs, so you have to sign up for it yourself. So don't shy away from it. I would definitely tell you to go for it. Like, push yourself a little bit, go out of your comfort zone, and you can surprise yourself, and then you get that experience to feel like you're actually working and not a student before you actually graduate. So it's great. And then also you kind of open your eyes to how many opportunities you can have as a cosmetologist. Because naturally, as a beauty school student, your end goal is just to be working in a salon behind somebody's chair working on a client. But there's so much more to it. You can work backstage at a fashion show, work at an editorial photo shoot, you can work on the set of a TV show. Like, there's so much more that you can do with it. There's so much farther you can go than just working in a salon. I mean, if being in a salon is good enough for you, that's fine. There's no judgment there, but it's just nice to at least give yourself the opportunity. So that's that, and then it looks better on your resume whenever you do graduate. You can say, even though I just graduated school, I've also worked at this show, and I've done this, and I've done that. So push yourself to try those things. It's very, very helpful. And when I was in school, I used to sign up for all of them, except competitions. I never liked doing competitions. I don't know why. I still don't. But everything else, I always like doing all the extra stuff. So it's just nice getting that extra experience as a student. So the next tip is to allow yourself to make mistakes. So don't be too hard on yourself. As a student, yes, you're gonna mess up. Yes, you're gonna freak out the first time you get a client in your chair, or maybe the first couple times. It's gonna happen. You're gonna be nervous, but just don't let that pull you back from doing the best you can. So what I'm saying is, don't be so nervous that you're just gonna be like, I'm not good at this, I'm not gonna take that, I'm not gonna do this. Or even worse, don't ever not improve something that you're not good at. Don't be like, well, I can't do it, so I give up and I'm just never gonna try it again. Don't ever do that. So in school, this is your opportunity to mess up, because your teacher's gonna be right there to help you improve that skill. If they don't see you messing up, how are they gonna know what to tell you about how you can get better? So you're gonna have to mess up. Don't just shy away and just hope that everyone thinks you're good at it, or just try and get away with whatever it is. You're gonna wanna push yourself, and if you mess up, you mess up, you get the help you need, and then you go better for the next time. That's how learning works. That's how school works. So do that. Also, don't compare yourself to other students or other classmates, because everybody works at their own pace. Everybody has their own strengths and weaknesses. For me, I was always very slow at doing perm wraps, and I would look at everybody else like speeding along their way, and I'm still stuck on my first one, and I'm like, okay, I suck at this. But then, for me, holding a curling iron came so naturally, and I was like, I don't know why everyone's so impressed, but people will be so impressed by how well I can work a curling iron, and I was like, who can't do that, Basically, everybody has their strength. Or like with braiding especially, I was always one of the best braiders because there weren't a lot of us. So everybody has their own strengths, their own weaknesses, so you can't go through school being like, I wish I was like that person, or I wish I was like them, You're your own person. Work on your own strengths. Work on your weaknesses especially, and don't be hard on yourself. Be easy on yourself. Allow yourself to be a student. But with that being said, do not get so caught up in the whole I'm a student excuse that you end up being lazy, because I've seen that happen too. I remember one person in particular in one of the schools that I went to was so stuck on that excuse that every single time she got an assignment, or every single time she got some criticism, which is another thing, except criticism, you're gonna need to take that. But every single time anyone critiqued her work or whatever, she'd be like, well, I'm just a student. What do you expect? It's only so good I'm gonna be. Like, I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna be slow, this and that, the other thing. I'm a student. And then you look at her and be like, girl, you have like a month left of school. You gotta get off of that little excuse. So don't use that as an excuse to be lazy, because you do have to actually be putting effort into your work. But I'm saying, if you're trying your best and it's just not quite there yet, it's okay, you will be. That's what I'm trying to say. So the next thing that I would suggest is research salons before you're done with school, just so that whenever you're out, you already know where you're gonna work. Or if you can, I would even suggest working in school like towards the end of your cosmetology course, so that you're already in the field, so that when it comes to state boards, it'll be easy because you're already used to actually working. I personally didn't get to do this because this is kind of a long story, but to sum it up, I was kind of guilt tripped into working at my first job because I knew the salon owner, so I never got to actually go out and look for what I wanted to look for, so that's a whole story in itself. But anyway, I would definitely suggest looking for somewhere, you know, just do your research however you want to do it. My type of research is kind of expensive because I would actually go and get my hair done and be like, okay, would I come here as a client? Yes. Okay, so then I would want to work here. But obviously that's an expensive way to try out salons because you have to get your hair done over and over. But you know what you're looking for with where you want to work depending on what you want to do, you know what I mean? So check out different salons. You can go in there and be like, okay, I'm a student, I'm looking for somewhere to work. I just kind of want to see how you guys run things, you know, things like that, whatever you want to do. So that whenever you're out of school, you already have a job right there for you. Or even before, you can work there as an assistant and just, you know, sweep floors and do receptionist and whatever. As long as you're in the salon, because let me tell you guys something. Watching people work in a salon, you'd realize it's so different in school because the procedures that they show you in school are so broken down to make it easy, and then you get out into the real world and you realize, okay, this is a faster way to do this, but in school they have us doing this, and so forth and so forth. Basically, the way they break things down in school, from what I've seen, is so time consuming, and then you go out and see it done in the salon and you learn a whole different technique that might work better for you. So it's always good to see things like other people's way, basically, because in school they have to follow curriculum, because for the state boards you have to do things their way, but then when you get into the real world you learn your own techniques, so it's good to learn that from early. Also, it's good to start working straight out of school because then you don't have time to forget what you learned, because sometimes you can't take your state boards as soon as you're out of school. For me, it took a long time for my school to get whatever paperwork together that they needed, so it took me so long to get my license after I got out of school, so I had time to forget what I learned. So basically when I was able to schedule a test, I had to like schedule it like 2 months later because I knew I had to go back and restudy everything because I had forgotten so much. Like me particularly, I have a hard time remembering all the laws because there's so many numbers involved and so many different codes and chemicals and whatever, so having to just know that stuff, I forgot it all by then, so I had to go and study all over again. So you don't want to be in that position. So if I had started working as soon as I was out of school and not stalled because I didn't want to work where I was working, I would have had no problem going for my state boards the second I was able to. So just so you guys know, even without your license, you can start working after school because you get a temporary license, and I forgot how long they're good for. Every state is different, but I believe in my state, which is Pennsylvania, in case you guys are wondering, I believe it's 9 months or 6 months. I think it's 6 months. So anyways, that license basically says this person has completed their cosmetology course, but they have not yet taken their state board exam. So with a temporary license, you can work in a salon as long as a professional is assisting you the entire time. So before you finish school, you can't touch a client, period. But after school, once you have your temporary license, you can work on clients as long as someone is watching you. I think you can wash your hair without supervision, but everything else you need someone to be with you. And then when you get your actual license, you can do whatever, because you're the professional now. But the thing about a temporary license is you can't renew it, so if it runs out, if it expires before you go and take your state boards, you just have no license and you can't work anymore. So yeah, I would definitely suggest taking advantage of that temporary license and working ASAP. I mean, if you want to take a break after school, you can do it, because I get that one to like have some time off before you start working, but I definitely suggest not getting too comfortable because it is very easy to forget what you learned, because remember, it's a short course and you learn so much in that short space of time, so that's all just crammed into your brain. So go and get your license before, you know, it starts pouring out of you and you forget everything. So the last 2 tips that I have written down here, I kind of went over already. So basically, it was be prepared to study. So basically, cosmetology school is more than just playing with hair and makeup. It's an actual course that you have to take time and learn and dedicate your time with, because you need to study. So yeah, it's not like an easy A course. It definitely takes time, so be prepared to actually do some book work and do some real assignments. And the other tip I have here is just get your license ASAP, because like I just said, it's very easy to forget everything that you just learned in school. So those are all the tips that I have. Sorry, my nose is really itchy and I don't know why. So those are all the tips that I have for starting cosmetology school and what to expect while you're there. But most importantly, make sure you're having fun with it. And if this is the field for you, then it would be fun and it won't feel like work. I made a video a few months ago where I said what to expect as a hairstylist. So if you're going to school hoping to be a hairstylist, check that out as well. But like I said, if you enjoy this, you're going to have fun regardless. Just don't be too hard on yourself. Have a good time. Learn what you can. Commit to the field. Push yourself and have a good time, because it is a very fun experience. And it's the best experience you're going to have in your entire career, because it's going to be the most fun, because it's not work. It's just learning and making friends and having a good time. So I hope you guys found that helpful. So I hope you guys found that helpful and informative and that you guys liked this video. And if you did, make sure to give this a big thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. And for more videos like this, subscribe to my channel. I have plenty more to come. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!